And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the Brood War OST as we have just been waiting for our players to get ready. We have our next series, as you can see on the screen. It is Pezz versus Misaki in a PvZ. Now, we just got notified, a bit unfortunate, but it looks like Ender did get the walkover. We got confirmation, which means Ender is waiting for the winner of this series, and this is a fresh best of 3. Here we go, and spawning in the top left-hand corner, of Golden Aura, we have the Australian Protoss player, the purple Protoss. It is Pezz. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the orange Zerg player from the land of China. It is Misaki. And I am very quickly trying to set up some predictions, very quickly, if possible. All right, there we go. Round of 16. It is going to be Pezz versus Misaki. All right, beautiful. Predictions are open, and I'll let you guys know in the chat. Predictions open. Okay, so yeah, I'm unfamiliar with Misaki. We have had the luxury of casting a lot of these Chinese players in recent years, just because of the regions coming together. And even before that, every year since 2020, we have been casting the Chinese regionals, the qualifiers, the closed qualifiers, and the main events themselves. So we aren't unfamiliar with the Chinese scene, but I am unfamiliar with Misaki. When I think of Chinese Zerg players, I think of players like Wanted, I think of Silky, I think of Tudming, Sugwa back in the day as well, aka Watermelon. But Misaki I'm unfamiliar, or even Moko, or Takanashi nowadays. But yeah, Misaki I'm unfamiliar with, so I'm ready to be introduced. I'm ready to be introduced to our lovely Zerg player here, and we'll see how they do against Pezz, as we do get a drone scout across the map, going for a gas steal. Okay. Going for a bit of a gas steal. Meanwhile, Pezz is going to be going for a double gate opener, so things are already popping off. Misaki going to be trying to disrupt the economy here of Pezz, but Pezz is going to be responding with aggression. Now, this Nexus is delayed. Pezz did purposely delay this Nexus in favor of a double gate opener. This means we are going to be moving out across the map with 2 adepts and then 4 adepts as well. Pezz is going to be very aggressive this early on, and we'll see if Misaki can keep up. Aye. This, yeah, we'll see if he can. There we go. The adepts are now in production. Back at home, the queens are on the way. We're attempting to drone up, but because of this 2-gate opener, Misaki has to respect it, has to respond, and is amassing some lings back at home to make sure the adepts do not get out of control. Speaking of getting out of control, it's going to be a robo follow-up. Oh my god. Pezz, he's really playing out of left field. This is not standard play. So with a Robo as a tech of choice here, this can lead into a fast Warp Prism to get into a second gateway. This could lead into Disruptor drops as well, or even an Immortal based all-in. We have a lot of possibilities here for Pezz as he ignores that second gas, guys. It goes for a second gas here at the natural instead. The first Hordeps have arrived, and they are making their way across the map. Oh, they do get 1 drone, and they do get a second drone as well. Oh, can they get a 3rd? They're looking for a 3rd drone, but they're denying a lot of mining time here at the natural. 2 drones in total, and the adepts do escape. Behind this, Immortal is on the way. This is looking very aggressive here out of Pezz. Immortal production commencing. We can get into sentries behind this as well. The Overlord Scout is denied, is tied up here outside the bases, and Misaki's 3rd is quite late here in comparison. In general, this game feels quite wonky here for both players. Feels like Misaki has also been a little bit thrown off here by what Pezz has been doing. And Misaki's going for a 4-minute lair. Oh my. A very fast lair out of Misaki. With a 4-minute lair timing, depending on how many gases we take, this could be a Ling Queen Nidus all-in. But we don't have a lot of queens. We only have 3 queens in between all these bases. This could also be for a Hydra rush. As I say that, Roach Warren is thrown down again early. This Roach Warren does make sense just because of the timing here, because there's no natural bait. Sorry, there's no 3rd. So a safety Roach Warren here makes plenty of sense for Misaki. The lair a little bit less so. as we are building up towards a 2-base all-in. I believe it's going to be 6 gates in total. 6 gateways, immortals, sentries. And here we go. The army is moving out. God, old school slow lot all in. This is what whenever I see this slow lot all in, I just remember Pezz versus Chappie in PAX Australia a couple of years ago, where Chappie was talking smack to Pezz all night, and then Pezz just slow lot all in. It was beautiful. Who needs charge when you have slow lots? As the Roach Warren is going to go down, we have 10 roaches on the way. That lair is not going to come into play whatsoever, as the all-in is already upon us. The boys have to be good pools. A good juggling here with the Immortal, as the Immortal does dive on that Queen. Zealous just going ham here on everything else. We go for a big warp in, not enough anti-air. GG gets called, and Pezz takes game number 1. GG. Very quick game there out of Pezz. Again, Golden Aura, very short rush distance. So to go for a 2-base all-in does make plenty of sense. To go for a follow-up all-in with slow lots, again, this is a very unique build and you don't get to see it too often. But Pezz, he does whip it out from time to time. GG. Misaki, unfortunately underprepared, wasn't fully aware of what kind of all-in was coming. Did have a safety Roach Warren, which was definitely a good thing, but again, investing into that lair so early on, without like a good reasoning behind it, like that is resources that could have been spent on another queen, on more roaches, on anything else. Again, the queen count from Misaki was very low that game, only 3 queens in total. So yeah, just really risky play out of Misaki and was punished for it. Now we're getting into game number 2. Here we go. Maybe he just wants overseers. Maybe. He just wants detection, Pop. He just wants detection. As I'm sure a lot of people know, when it comes to detection that early on, typically you just rely on spores. The lair is a really big investment, not just when it comes to the resources that you invest into it, but also the fact that if you're making a lair, you're not making more queens, and without more queens, especially against an all-in, it is quite difficult to defend. As we're getting into our next game. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the Australian Protoss player leading the series 1-0 in this best of 3 in a round of 16. It is Pezz. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Chinese Zerg player, the orange Zerg, down in this series, but looking to tie the series 1-1 if possible. It is Misaki. Okay, this time I'm going to be paying a lot more attention to what Misaki does here in the early game. I'm very curious, as we do have a 15-hatch opener. For those wondering, 15-hatch means you get your base on location, the probe gets here too late, and you go into a 15 spawning pool behind this. Typically, you delay your gases to make this happen. It does mean that, again, your gas income is going to be very delayed, but you don't need that much gas this early on in ZVP. As the spawning pool is now thrown down, going to be able to drone from here. Spawning pool is a bit delayed, but regardless, we are getting into this. And yeah, just a very, I would say, standard opener here out of Misaki. Again, the 15-15 has kind of risen in popularity in recent times, just so you can actually expand properly and get a solid base setup as the gas is finally being taken. Meanwhile, back at home, gate expand out of Pezz, this time a much more standard opener as well. Remember, last game we saw a double gate opener out of Pezz. This time, gate expand into a cybercore. So we're going to be calming things down. Nothing overly aggressive, no crazy gas steal out of Misaki. Second gas is taken, and yeah, we can just get into Oceanborn. Now, when it comes to Oceanborn, talking a little bit about the map itself, the rush distance by ground is also pretty short and pretty straightforward. You can defend quite easily on 3 bases. The 4th is a little bit more troublesome, or it can be more troublesome here on this map. And don't even get me started on a 5th base, if the game goes on that long. as the Lings do make it out. And Misaki has to, or Pezz has to get the hell out of there. With said probe, it's going to be a Stargate opener. Again, looking like a standard opener out of Pezz. And even though Pezz went all in last game, he is more than willing to go for a standard opener into the mid game. Back when Pezz was more active as a pro player, I'm talking like 2019, 2020, Pezz was known for his mid game. And arguably, Pezz had the best PvZ in Australia, even better than Probe, to be honest. I do think that Probe had better late game. I would stand by that. But when it came to the mid game, like Pezz, he was so varied. He had so much practice against Mio Micah and Gogo Joey, and Pezz, he was competing on a weekly basis in GPO back in the day. So again, he's got quite a large legacy behind him in the local scene in Oceania and Southeast Asia. And we'll see if he can reprise that role. For now, Stargate into Oracle, again, standard opener here. Behind this, Misaki getting towards the third base, going to be droning up, going to be saturating his natural, getting Ling speed, and he doesn't pull out a gas, but I think a big reason for this is because the gas is delayed. So Ling speed, and then from here we can go for an Evo chamber, we can go for a Roach Warren. As 10 Lings are on the way just for map control. And the first Oracle is zooming out across the map. We should be getting 2 queens in each base. We saw in the last game that we were very light on queen production, and that's going to be the same this time as well. We only have 3 queens available. Oof. And Misaki can be abused for that. But across the map, oh, we do force a cancel. The Lings, they do manage to get a surround on the third base. They get a surround on the Adept as well, and this is well worth it. The Oracle doesn't get any damage done across the map. It races back home, and Misaki denies the third. High risk, high reward. We skipped out on some queens in favor of these Lings, and they more than paid for themselves. We even delay the third base again, getting a kill on that probe. Very nicely done. Can we do it now? I was like, can we do it again? Not quite. Behind this, we're going for a fast lair. This was around a 4:30 lair timing. Again, really early on. I'm curious if this is just going to be for safety. There we go. We have our answer. Third gas is taken. We are rushing into Hydras. Now this makes sense. It is also very possible that this is what Misaki wanted to do last game as well. It's possible. Meanwhile, the Lings, they go for another counterattack. 1, 2 Adepts go down. Really efficient trades here with these Lings. And we have more Lings on the way. They are spotted here by Pezz. Oh, and this third base is looking very vulnerable. The Oracles don't turn around? Oh, no. I'm not sure about this. The Oracles, they finally turn around, but the Lings are getting out of control. They take down both Zealots, and they could even force a cancel. We do manage to warp in another wave of Zealots. The Oracles, they do make it home in time. And they will force these Lings away. They get a kill on a pylon. They get 3 Zealots. And 3 probes as well. A really good trade here from Misaki. And what's important is that behind this, we're going all in. We're cutting workers at 43, and we have a Ling Hydra all-in coming across the map. The Oracles are stuck at home, which means they don't get scouted. This push has not been scouted. Pezz is not ready. No shield batteries at the natural. We can go right for it. We don't have to waste our time at the third. We do not have to waste our time. We can go straight for the jugular, but we're thinking about it. But there we go. We divert our attention. Going straight for the natural. The wall is not a wall. The Lings, they flood on forward here, and Pezz is caught with his pants down. Not much to defend whatsoever. As the Archons, good juggling. Oh my god, Pezz. Really good juggling coming in from Pezz. But the workers are falling one after another. 18, 19, 21 probes. We get the Archons, and that's going to be all she wrote. GG gets called. Misaki ties up the series 1-1. GG. Catching Pezz completely off guard with that Ling Hydra all-in. And it wasn't just catching Pezz off guard, but because of all the Ling aggression, Pezz was having a really hard time getting any scouting information. The Adepts, they kept going down one after another. The third base was denied. Because of this, Pezz, he was never able to move out with his Adepts. He was never able to move out with his Oracles either because of the constant Ling aggression. And because of the initial denied third base, we never got it back up and running. We never got a shield battery. We never got to really solidify ourselves. And yeah, Pezz was completely in the dark. GG. Very well played. And just like that, we have an ace match. We have a game 3. Here we go. Also, winding it back to that last game, talking about the advantages of Oceanborn, we spoke about how the rush distance by ground is really short, kind of like Golden Aura. So going for a Ling Hydra all-in like that made plenty of sense for Misaki to abuse the map, to take advantage of the map, I should say, and to take advantage of Pezz in the process. And just like that, we are getting into game number 3. And I was not expecting this. I was not expecting this to go to game 3. I was, expecting more of a one-sided series here, so I'm pleasantly excited. I'm pleasantly surprised, I should say. Don't know what pleasantly excited means. Pleasantly surprised here by the performance of Misaki, and we'll see if he can go the distance or if the favored player will come out on top. We shall see. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Alcyone, we have the Australian Protoss player, the purple Protoss. It is Pezz. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the orange Zerg player, tying up the series 1-1 in that last game. It is Misaki. Once again, going for a 15 hatch. It's interesting because when it comes to the higher level of play, the 15 hatch opener has kind of fallen off. We haven't seen it as frequently or as often from players like Serral and Raynor and Dark. It was quite trendy for a while, but in the new map, in the new patch, we haven't seen it as often. But it's cool to see that Misaki is still embracing it. Again, for those wondering, the reasoning for a 15 hatch is so that you throw down your hatchery before the probe arrives, so you're able to actually get it on location. Otherwise, again, if you're familiar with this matchup, you would know that typically the probe gets here, goes for a block, and the Zerg player is forced to expand elsewhere. And that does mean that it's a little bit more difficult to defend against Twilight Council openers. It means that something like Levedeps or any kind of ground-based aggression in the early game can be a little bit more difficult to hold on to if you're spread out thin. So this is just a safe and secure way to open up. Technically, this is a little bit inefficient resource-wise compared to a hatch first, even if you go hatch first at one of these other bases, but this is just safer overall. So we go for a safer opener instead of a more economic opener. And again, it's just slightly less economic. As it is a hatch full gas opener here from Misaki. Again, delayed gas means that link speed is going to be a little bit later than normal, but I imagine Misaki is going to be staying in gas here after link speed just so we can take up even further here. We saw in the previous game rushing into a lair, rushing into Hydras, but I don't think a Hydra rush is as impactful and as yeah, I don't think it's going to be as successful here on Alcyone, especially 2 games in a row. I'm sure Pezz is going to be more on the lookout for that. For now, it's going to be a gate expand, standard opener out of our Protoss player. Nothing too crazy. Oh, I say standard opener, but we have our tech, and it is going to be a Twilight Council, not a Stargate. Interesting. So this could be for Glavedeps. This could be for a DT opener for Dark Templar. The Lings, they are going to dip on in. The Adept is going to try to deny the scout and will actually force those things away. Again, very well done here. Pezz, he faked a move out, so Misaki assumed that the Adept was not at home, but it was. And we deny the scouts. Meanwhile, the Robo is thrown down. We haven't pulled out a gas. This is looking like it's going to be DTs. Show us the Dark Shrine. No, okay, wait, we throw down another... Oh my god, never mind. We throw down another 3 gates. It is going to be Glaives, and we do pull out. We have pulled out of gas. It is going to be 4 gate Glaive Adept. Now, it's only 4 gateways, which means it is not all in. It means that Pezz should be expanding behind this. This does still need to do some damage, but it doesn't have to end the game. Doesn't have to end the game here. As again, there are different variations of Glaive Adept openers. You can throw down 2 more gateways and go for a 2 base all in. You can go for a Dark Shrine as well. But if any of that were the case, we would need to pull back into these gases. As again, we only have 2 and 2, which does only support 4 gateways of Adepts. As the Adepts are on the way, Misaki does throw down a safety Roach Warren, is aware of the danger that Pezz does pose him. Lings are on the way. And so far, Misaki sees those Adepts as well, has read this well. No spores are thrown... Oh, sorry, never mind. We have 1 spore in the main. And we're soon to have a spore here at the 3rd base as well. Just in case it were going to be Dark Templar. Just in case DTs were coming out. Adepts are also shading across the map as well. They do reveal themselves here to the Overlord. I mean, this Overlord here saw them as well. And roaches are on the way. Honestly, Misaki is reacting beautifully to this. It all comes down to the execution. The queens, the roaches need to be in position. The lings have to be careful not to throw themselves away. Ideally, the lings, they chase the shade while the roaches keep up with the main army. Oh, 2 queens go down. The transfuses were not there, and those are some costly trades here from Misaki. The lings, they go for a surround. And a lot of these Adepts will fall. But at the same time, the Prism gets in, and the Adepts, they do bypass the army. They go straight for the main. Now, drones aren't dying. Only 2 workers have gone down, but that's a lot of lost mining time. And the Adepts, they shade in towards that 3rd base, but the roaches are waiting for them. Up. They were. Pezz, he finds a little bit more damage. And he will be able to escape. Again, Pezz wasn't all in, but he is going to be taking up even further. We have a bay on the way for Disruptors, for Colossus. And the Adepts are still alive. As they head into the natural... God, this is a massive natural. Jesus. A lot of room to work with. As Misaki is able to defend here on 43 workers. Pezz taking a 3rd. And again, Pezz has done enough to maintain his economy, to tech up even further, and be safe against any kind of roach aggression. Misaki does not have a lair, so we can't go for any kind of roach speed timing. But Misaki isn't droning. Ooh, Misaki is going all in. Oh my god. Misaki is making nothing but lings, banking up those roaches. We have a couple of Ravagers on the way as well. And Misaki's going to be sending everything across the map. Meanwhile, back at home, Pezz doesn't have too much to work with. Has a Disruptor, has a 2nd Disruptor on the way. These Purification Novas are going to be imperative here to defend. They're going to be crucial to hold. Observer goes down, which means Pezz will not see the move out. Again, really good setup here from Misaki. Shutting down the Observer. Pezz does control the Zonaga, and here we go. The army has now been revealed, but Pezz is going to lose all of his Adepts. The Biles connect. A very efficient trade here from our Zerg player, and Misaki is just going to keep on pushing. The Disruptors are out in the open. We do have a shield battery. The Novas! 1 Roach and 1 Ravager go down, but that is not good enough. The Lings, they do break into the 3rd base. Overcharges popped. It's doing what it can. But Misaki has too much. Down goes the shield battery. We need another Nova. Bars are connecting as well. Nova is going to go offense. We'll take down 1 of the Ravagers. 2 Ravagers go down. They're okay. Okay trades. Colossus putting in a lot of work. Yo, can we defend? Can we hold? The base is going to fall, and Misaki is droning behind this. It looks like Misaki is aware that he cannot kill Pezz. But he did cripple the economy, did take down the 3rd base, and Misaki just heavily droning up the 3rd base. and this will trigger a counterattack. Oh my god. Oof. Big connections. A lot of roaches do go down. Finally, the connections that Pezz was looking for, and how the pendulum swings one way straight into the other as Pezz, it's now his turn to be all in. Let's go. The Stalkers have arrived. +1 is done. Blink is done as well. And we have those disruptors. Can Misaki survive? Good connection. Getting 2 more roaches. We still have another disruptor, another purification of it in the chamber. And it will go up. Oof. Big connection on those roaches. And Pezz, he's snowballing out of control. The boys are being pulled because they have to be. Good blinks here from Pezz, keeping everything alive. The drones, they're going down one after another. Nova zones away the army. GG gets called. And Pezz will take the series 2-1, advancing on to a qualifying match. GG. GG, well played, Pezz. Wasn't a lot of danger there. I was really concerned when I saw that Pezz did not scout the all-in, when I saw that he was woefully underprepared, and when he got his adepts caught in the center of the map, I thought it was over. I thought it was done. But Pezz, he was able to preserve his disruptors, he was able to save his Colossus, get into Blink and +1, and even though he may have lost his base, did lose the Nexus, he didn't really lose too many workers, and he was able to preserve his units. And he was able to snowball and swing into his own all-in, catching Misaki off guard, catching Misaki being a little bit too greedy and droning up too much as well back at home. And just like that, Pezz makes it through. My condolences to Misaki. Again, this was my first time casting Misaki as a player, and I was definitely impressed with what they brought to the table. It was a close series overall. It could have gone either direction. But GG, well played. Congratulations to Pezz as he moves on to face off against Ender in the next round. Let's go. Let us go.